It was time to lay siege to Advent's East Asian research facility. I had already assembled the team. They were just on standby while we waited one more day so the research and engineering teams could finish their latest projects. Before long, the engineering team had delivered a new batch of experimental munitions to the armory. It wasn't quite what I had been hoping for, but I was sure we'd be able to find some use for it. Soon afterwards, I received the report I had been waiting for. Atlas had further advanced his psionic abilities, and Naz, well, his brain was finally jam-packed to maximum capacity with strange otherworldly energy. Naz had expressed some interest in mentoring our next batch of psionic operatives, so I decided to humor him. He was a bit eccentric, sure, but he was also a valuable asset to our team, so it seemed important to indulge him from time to time. At the very least, I suppose I should have been glad that this request didn't involve worshipping blood gods or carving up piles of corpses. Of course, now that Naz had, graduated from the Psi-Lab experiments, we had a perfectly good psi chamber going to waste. There was no shortage of potential recruits these days, so it didn't take them long to find one who was eager for the chance to gain some genuine superpowers. Once that was out of the way, I quickly ordered the Grey Shirts to set a course for our next target. We had been planning this assault for the past several days, but I decided it couldn't hurt to review the information one more time. The Avatar facility we were targeting did have one of those walking Advent tanks guarding the perimeter, but otherwise the security detail seemed unusually light. I decided to let Praytel Mox lead up the team. He had missed the last few missions, and I was starting to become concerned with how much time he had been spending around Karn lately, so I thought that some time in the field would do him good. Of course, then he just insisted that I let him bring Karn along anyway, so I guess that didn't really solve anything. Since our goal was basically to destroy an entire building, I assigned 2 of our demolitions experts to the team. Blackbane and Shellshock both seemed eager to take on that kind of work. Despite their enthusiasm, I was a bit concerned with their lack of experience, so I made sure the engineering team got them both kitted out with some of our new war suits. After that, I assigned 2 of our more reserved soldiers to round out the rest of the squad. I was sending a lot of our more eccentric soldiers on this run, so I could only hope that Greenguard and Fireball would be able to keep them on task. Operation Dragonslayer looked like it was going to be another relatively smooth and simple mission, but I had to keep reminding myself, this was the Blightwalker's territory. We had already driven him off once, but based on every report I had received so far, he was a very patient and persistent hunter.
The aliens have a secure facility hidden in this area conducting research crucial to the Avatar project. And we've got enough information at this point to move in and take it out. Once we reach the AO, head to the designated position and plant the X4 charges. When they're armed, get clear, and we'll blow that place to hell. Menace 1-5. Target coordinates are locked in. Move to designated position and place the X4 charges. Entering squad concealment.
Hey, RetconRaider here, and welcome back to episode 23. Today, as promised, we're finally assaulting the East Asian Project Avatar facility. I think this is our 3rd facility raid, so by now you should have a good idea of what to expect from these sorts of operations. We just need to fight our way past a couple of... speaking of which, looks like we've already got visual on our first enemy pod, and at a glance it looks like it's 1 Codex, 1 Stun Lancer, and 1 Elite Trooper.
Will do.
We're obviously not going to attack them this turn, so let's go ahead and move the squad up into a better ambush position for next turn.
Location confirmed.
Since there's no timer on these facility raid missions, we can afford to take our time.
Getting it done. Move.
Oh, and look at that. We've got another double agent in play. This time it looks like we get an elite stun lancer. I'll see if I can actually manage to keep this one alive, but no promises.
A great distance.
Well, the enemy pod moved right towards us, so guess this is as ideal a time as any to go ahead and start our attack. Let's see here. We know there's a sectopod running around out here somewhere, but we've got explosive to spare. Let's go ahead and start things off with Blackbane's incendiary grenade.
Here, catch! They spotted us.
Ah, right. The Codex is immune to fire, but at least it still took damage from the initial blast. It also hasn't created a clone yet, so let's see if we can drop it with our next shot. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like Karn has a very good angle on it, so... You know what? I know I said I was going to try to keep this guy alive, but let's have the Lancer handle this. Whoops, and of course we just triggered another pod. Looks like a priest and a purifier. I know I said I wanted to save our explosives, but with this many enemies on the field, I think we're going to have to use another area attack.
Launching! Position compromised.
Okay, we've still got 4 enemies on the field, but they're all theoretically within 1 hit of dying. Let's see if we can start clearing them out here. Mox has a slightly better than average chance to hit, so let's go for that. Nice, 1 less enemy.
They won't fight no more.
Unfortunately, Mox doesn't have a clear shot at anyone else. I could... no. It doesn't look like his grappling hook will get him anywhere useful. I guess I'll just have to hold position for now. Looks like Green Guard's got a pretty good angle on the Lancer. And that's another enemy off the board.
Neutralized.
So that just leaves us with the Purifier and the Priest. Unfortunately, they're tucked far enough away that I'm not sure most of our guys will be able to draw line of sight on them. Let's just set up for some Overwatch here.
On your order. Overwatch.
Oh, actually, Shellshock can draw line of sight from this gas pump over here. It actually looks like you could theoretically take out that Purifier in 1 shot, but I'm not really crazy about committing to a 50-50 chance to hit. Let's go ahead and see if we can get another grenade in there. Well, the angle's a little tricky, but yeah, it looks like we can hit both targets, so let's go ahead and do that.
Attacking on sight. Right on schedule.
Ah, that guy again. I guess I should have seen that coming.
I appreciate that.
just picked up a unique signature. One of the Chosen is here. That thing is only going to make trouble for us until we deal with it.
Mind control. Well, nothing to worry about as long as we... Oh, well, I guess that takes care of the purifier. Nice shot, Karn.
The most dangerous game? Hardly.
I don't suppose you could take out that priest for us, too. Blood for the blood god and all that? That'll do it.
Target eliminated.
Don't worry about them. The elders have plenty more to spare.
Oh, and since our Stun Lancer actually survived the turn, let's go ahead and keep him on point. We're definitely going to need to stay on our guard now since the Blightwalker is running around. But hopefully he'll just end up wasting most of his turns hanging back and trying to snipe at us again. So for the most part, we just need to move our squad up, hug cover wherever possible, and once we get close enough to the facility, we can just punch down a wall, set the explosives, and call in our evac. Unlike most operations, we don't have to stick around and kill all of the enemies before the mission is complete, so aside from experience points, there's no real reason to stick around for a prolonged gunfight. Huh. And there's the Hunter, zipping around like the Bionic Commando. Guess he decided not to hang back and snipe this time. Well, that's even more reason to keep hugging cover. Though, I really didn't notice this cliff face when I first looked at the map. That actually really complicates our approach. I'm not entirely sure we can get up to the facility without exposing ourselves to incoming fire. I guess we should just take this slowly and wait for the Hunter to expose his position. I'm not crazy about moving our guys into partial cover positions, but the Hunter isn't immune to Overwatch fire, so that's probably our best bet if we want to take him down quickly.
Menace 1-5, you're near the target position.
We'll just move the whole squad up and set them on Overwatch, and then hopefully they can do some serious damage to this guy once he comes into our line of sight.
On the move.
On the move.
I'm on it.
Moving.
I'm on it.
Oh,
So
shoot.
you killed off one of the others. Which one was it? No. Don't tell me.
The Chosen is in position. Time to put it down.
Okay, well, there he is. Fortunately, I've only put one person on Overwatch so far, but I don't think anyone's got line of sight to this guy anyway. I mean, Karn does, but I'm not going to take a 3% shot. Though I might actually be able to improve the odds on that shot if I grapple him up here. Well, it definitely improved the odds of hitting, but not nearly enough to be worth taking a shot. Let's just get Karn into cover.
Affirmative, covering now.
The big question here is whether or not I want to knock the Hunter off of that rooftop. He's immune to explosive damage, but not to falling damage. But I don't think it's worth wasting a blaster bomb on it, so let's just get everyone else on Overwatch for now.
Affirmative, covering now.
Affirmative. Covering now.
It is under my watch. you're ready for company.
Ah, looks like he's summoning up some allies. At least our Overwatch won't go to waste.
Target neutralized.
I almost feel bad for them. They've got no idea what they're in for.
So much for his reinforcements.
It's quiet time.
We've got a soldier down. Get to him before the Chosen do.
All things considered, that wasn't too bad. He dazed Blackbane, which is easy enough to fix. But aside from that, he basically just gave us some free loot.
I suppose you owe them the attempt at a rescue, even if it ends up being a big mistake.
Karn, could you please shut this guy up? Oh, blood for the Blood God. Nice.
You're going to pay for that.
Okay, now, we're definitely going to take the roof out from under him, but we also need to start pushing up with at least half the squad so we can start crowding this guy. He's weak against melee, so we probably want to get Mox, Fireball, and that Stun Lancer in there. Let's go ahead and move Blackbane up as well. I didn't want to waste a blaster bomb on this, but we really do need to knock the Hunter off that rooftop.
Heads done.
Oh, looks like we've got another pod on the roof too.
Is that the best you can do?
Like I said before, the Hunter's immune to explosive damage, but he did take some falling damage there. Plus it makes it a little easier to reach him.
Okay.
As you command. I'm still amazed anyone in the Resistance agreed to work with you skirmishers. Why would anyone trust a faction built on disloyalty?
I'm on it. Overwatch.
Affirmative. Covering now.
Watch order confirmed.
Okay, let's see what this guy does.
Enough pleasantries.
Oh, a grenade. Of course. At least it looks like it just dazed our guys. Really, the Hunter's not even trying to hurt us, he's just trying to inconvenience us to death.
Commander, an access code here, a set of coordinates there. Soon enough, I'll find you.
Blightwalker decided to stay out in the open again, so if I can get a couple of guys up there, they should have clear shots at him. In fact, let's see if... Ah, yes, we can. Mox can use his grappling hook to pull himself up here as a free action.
A useful aid.
Now, I don't want to get too crazy here, so we'll use our first action to get him under proper cover. In fact, let's move up and grab this loot here, and then he should still be able to hit this guy with 2 attacks. Nice. We can always use more Illyrium cores.
Article secured. Hear my strike.
Oh, and even nicer. It looks like Whiplash counts as melee damage.
To beginner's luck.
I think we might actually be able to finish off the Hunter before the end of this turn. Nicely done. Oh, and of course, with the Hunter's exit, that gets rid of the dazed status that he slapped on 3 of our guys.
You've surprised me once again, Commander. Maybe I need to reconsider my tactics.
I'd say we owe our people a break after taking down that Chosen, Commander. I doubt it'll be long before we see that thing again, though.
At this point, we just need to push the squad up into the facility, plant the explosives, and call in our evac. The mission briefing said there were only 9 enemies on the field, so I'm guessing there's only 1 pod left, and we already saw they're on the other side of the building. Oh, though, we will probably see a reinforcement pod as soon as we plant the explosives. So we'll probably take them out on our way back to the Sky Ranger. Since Mox is basically running this operation anyway, let's have him move in to plant the explosives.
A 10 batal.
We'll just take up defensive positions this turn, but if everything looks clear, then we'll plant the explosives and call in the Sky Ranger next turn.
Heading out. On the move. Move, move, move! Move into position.
On your order.
Come and get some. Scanning.
Come get some.
Things still look clear, so let's go ahead and plant those explosives.
I move.
Menace 1-5, status confirmed. X4 charges are armed. Move to the extraction point for immediate evac.
We'll call down the evac over here near our guys, but we're going to stick around for at least another turn or two. That enemy reinforcement flare will drop in at the end of the turn, and that'll give us a full turn to set up an ambush for them.
Ready to engage.
This also gives us an opportunity to reload all of our guns.
Heading out. Scanning.
Back online.
Cover me. Reloading.
Ready to engage. I'm on it. Moving to Overwatch. Got it covered. Affirmative. Covering now. Advent reinforcements inbound. We've picked up hostile reinforcements inbound on your position.
The reinforcements are coming in right next to our evac point. That's convenient. That means we can start moving our guys towards the evac zone, while also setting up our ambush.
Moving to designated coordinates. On Overwatch. On the move. On Overwatch. Got it covered. Move into designated position. Overwatch.
I must run.
And let's see what Advent's throwing at us this time. Looks like a priest, a purifier, and a mech. not too bad. The mech's probably just going to go into Overwatch, but hopefully our ambush will take out the other two guys.
We've got our vent here. Shifting their attack.
Oh wow, that purifier may have caused some collateral damage there. No, it looks like Fireball lost her cover, but otherwise she wasn't injured. Well, let's go ahead and take out this mech, and then we can all go home. We just need to give this guy a love tap to knock him off Overwatch. Unfortunately, Mox doesn't have line of sight, but he does if we use his grapple to get up onto the roof here.
Changing position.
Ah, right. I actually forgot those guys were still up there. Well, that's fine. We're leaving this turn anyway. In fact, we might even get a couple of bonus kills out of this. First things first, let's go ahead and knock the mech off Overwatch. That puts it within one shot of death. So let's try focusing a bit on the other pod that just showed up. We want to trim off some of that sectopod's armor with some explosives. So let's move Blackbane over to the evac zone, and then we'll finally use that blaster bomb.
Moving out. Dodge this. Ready to boogie.
Now let's see if we... Okay, no, that doesn't do enough. Let's try moving Shellshock to the evac zone and see if we can line up a shot with the Plasma Blaster. I can't just give a man a forearm-mounted plasma weapon and then not expect him to use it. Looks like that should work. And it's telling me it won't cause friendly fire, so let's give it a shot.
Light them up.
Not bad.
I'm gone.
Okay, now, who should make the next attack? I'd like to bring down that sectopod, but I'd also like to bring down this mech before we leave. Let's go ahead and have the Lancer take a shot at the mech real quick. Nice, okay. That should actually be just enough to let our Ranger finish it off with a Rage Strike. That takes care of the mech. Now she can move over into the evac zone and take a shot at the sectopod before she leaves.
On your order.
Nice. That actually puts it on the brink of death.
Hacking it in.
Let's bring Green Guard over to finish it off.
Heading out.
Oh, and it dropped some loot, so let's have Karn grab that real quick.
On the move.
Not bad. And now let's get everyone else to the evac zone. There's only one more enemy left on the board, and I'm tempted to see if we can take him out, but if we actually failed to take him out, then there's actually a very good chance the Lancer could end up injuring or even disabling one of my operatives, so let's just get out of here.
Heading home.
I'm going.
Leaving combat.
Menace 1-5, status confirmed. X4 charges detonating.
The speaker commended loyal citizens today for standing up to those who would abandon our values for those of the old world. The remarks followed a moment of silence for peacekeepers slain by XCOM dissidents.
At least we know these Chosen can be killed. Well, temporarily.
Not bad, guys. I think this was our first flawless facility raid. Looks like we netted a couple of promotions, so let's take care of that. Shell Shock will pick up suppression. And Karn will pick up my favorite perk, Face Off. Though it would be a lot more effective if we could ever get our hands on some Dragonfire rounds. As I had suspected, the Blightwalker had once again lured us into a trap. I guess it explained why such a valuable facility was sporting such a light guard detail. Still, despite the ambush, our men had once again managed to fend off the hunter, and they even managed to take down the facility as well. I couldn't imagine that the Elders were very happy with Blightwalker's performance so far. With the Avatar project once again delayed, we had ample time to finish our preparations for the assault on Dawnslayer's headquarters. Karn and Mox were celebrating their recent success in the training room, so I left them to it, and focused on some of the other reports that had come in while I was coordinating our latest operation. First, it appeared that Demon and Varnas had completed their assignment, recovering a small but valuable stash of Advent supplies. It was only 2 Illyrium cores, but our engineering team had already shown just how much they could do with that sort of salvage. I decided it was time to have some of our men take another shot at gathering intel on the Blightwalker. He had gone to ground after his latest defeat, so it seemed like a good time to get some research done, without having to worry that he might spring another ambush on us. I let Lieutenant Michaelum lead the team, with the Beast and Pierce Wall to back him up in case of trouble. It's not that I was really anticipating any real difficulties, but you just never knew when it came to someone like Blightwalker. After that, I enjoyed a few quiet days with the usual assortment of minor updates. Despite my reservations, both Atlas and our newest test subject, a man named Antonio Guerra, were quickly showing progress under Naz's bizarre but admittedly effective tutelage. Our scanning teams had also continued scouting the area in and around Asia, discovering a few other exploitable caches. Nothing major, but we managed to scrounge up some more supplies here and some prisoners there. Every little bit helped. But then I finally received the report I had been waiting for. Tigan's research team had finished putting together numerous designs for all manner of man-portable plasma weaponry, and Lily had even managed to cobble together a working prototype. Unfortunately, it did turn out that Tigan was going to need some more time to come up with proper designs for heavier variants of the basic plasma rifle, but for now I hoped the rifles and pistols would be enough. I quickly funneled the vast majority of our remaining resources into the engineering department, so they could start stocking our armory with as many plasma weapons as possible. It had taken us months to get here, but this was it. It was time to go slay the Dawnslayer.